Happy Thursday, people. We are getting close to the holiday weekend. I see that someone got into the room just right about the time that I got into the room. So, hello. We have, I think, an interesting lesson today, a good media note, and media law is, I think, just a fascinating chapter. Uh, we'll have some announcements. We'll have a topical question of the day. So, what's not to like? All right, so I'll just hang in here for another minute or so until it's 10:45, and we hope that a crowd will gather and we'll be off. All right, we got another person in the room. Good to see that. So, who's here? Okay, I'm sure we'll get the chat box going here in just a moment. I was thinking about when we do inevitably return to the classroom, it's going to be exhilarating. It's going to feel great. And it's going to be a little scary at the same time. I think classroom behavior early on is going to be, kind of interesting to study. Hello, Hannah. Good to have you here. All right. Well, I see from the computer that it has turned 10:45. So let's start. If you are interested, oh, hello, Andrew. If you are interested in being a professional photographer or a graphic artist, both, fine professions, there is a career education panel tonight at 6 p.m. And if you write up a 300 or so words summary of it, I will give you extra credit points. But I think mostly you go to this because you might be interested in one of those professions. It is on Zoom, and all the details about how to get there is in the announcements section. The announcement is titled Media Panel 2. Hello, Hidden. Fall priority registration has started, and I do recommend that you sign up for classes as soon as you can, because given the way the economy is at the moment, in the fall, we are going to have more students than we will have classroom spots available. So sign up for those classes while they are still available. MassComm 101, I will be teaching 4 sections in the fall. So, if you'd like to tell your friends, 2 of them will be remote learning, which is what we're doing here. The other 2 will be fully distance ed. That means asynchronous. Also, in the announcements section, there was an email that came by my inbox the other day about financial assistance for undocumented workers who have been laid off due to the coronavirus crisis. So, if restaurant and other industries have suffered just tremendous layoffs, and the federal assistance does not cover everyone. So if you know someone who may be in this situation, an undocumented worker who got laid off due to coronavirus, look in the announcements. There's a California program that may be of help. Hello, Vicki. Good to have you here. Next thing. I know that this is a Tuesday, Thursday class, but if you have a Monday, Wednesday, or just a Monday class, don't come to class next Monday. It is a federal holiday. It is Memorial Day. We'll talk a little more about that later. Yesterday, I got a flyer that, for a transfer center event. It's called Denied. And I thought, well, that's a little harsh. Who it is for is students who, really swung for the fences, really went for the moonshot. Maybe they applied to Berkeley or Harvard, who knows, right? And they got denied. Well, what this workshop is about is, okay, you've been denied. What do you do from here? And that is going to be next Tuesday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. And I have posted all the particulars on how to get to that Zoom event. It is also in the announcements. ASGCC elections are continuing to go on. Get your ballots in pretty soon. I think this will be over. This could be the last day. I'm not sure, but you know. Supplemental instruction. Stephanie had a lively group, I'm told, on Tuesday. She went through both the advertising and public relations chapters. I can tell that the semester is really winding down because there's only 2 more supplemental instructions that we'll have. Next week will be chapter 13, media law, very important chapter. Hello, Sleepy Jens. Good to have you here. And then the week after next week, we will be doing final exam supplemental instruction. So the semester is truly, truly winding down. If you have not already done so, please take quiz 3. It will be live until Sunday. It's a very non-threatening quiz. It's multiple choice. You can retake it. It's obviously open book, should you choose to do it that way. It covers chapters 9, 10, and 11. So get it done. Get it done. I wanted to talk a little bit about, we have an airplane going overhead, so the sound may be a little compromised. I want to talk a little bit about you students who are, real good at getting your stuff in. And as a result, you've been looking at your point total and you realize, oh my gosh, I've kind of crossed the finish line, right? In my grading system, 180 points is an A. And I look at the point totals and, I already have some students who are over 180. And the reason for that is that I made this semester unusually easy when we went to remote learning, because I thought, students are going to have so much to deal with. I just want them to continue to have the structure of going to school. So I put all these extra points into the course, making it very, very easy to not just pass, but get a high grade. Now, what I'm telling you now is just because you've crossed the 180 threshold, and by the way, congratulations for doing that, okay? But just because you've crossed the 180 threshold, doesn't mean that you should just do nothing. Think about the workshops I've been telling you about, for example. If you do want to be a professional photographer or a graphic artist, go to that. Hear from some professionals in the field that you hope to break into. Or if you have been denied admission to the university of your choice, go to that workshop and figure out, what can I do from here? I guess what I'm trying to say is getting good grades is part of your education, but it isn't your whole education. Just keep that thought in your mind. All right, on to the question of the day. The question of the day is rooted in recognition that we are coming up on a holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend. We celebrate Memorial Day to acknowledge the sacrifices of our war veterans down through the years. And oftentimes Memorial Day is one of those holidays where it's like, yay, 3-day weekend, and you go off on a mini vacation. Well, you can't quite do that, or at least not in the same way this year. So the question of the day is, what plans do you have for Memorial Day weekend? And how will your plans be different from a normal year? So, what plans do you have for Memorial Day weekend? And how will this year's plans be different than what you usually do? So, while I'm waiting for the answers to roll in on the chat box, I'll tell you about my situation. For about the last 30 years, on Memorial Day weekend, I had scooped up my family, which has kind of changed a little bit down through the years. And we have gone to Paso Robles in Central California for the Great Western Bicycle Rally. And it's late May, and the weather is very pleasant, and it's rolling hills in the countryside. There's a lot of farms and vineyards in that part of the state, and you meet up with bike club people, and the little kids get to play games. My son kind of grew up at that rally. Um, the the your friends in the bike clubs, you get to go out to dinner and all that, and it's a lovely event. And can't do that this year. The rally was canceled. The hotel I usually stay at, and calling up and saying, look, I'm not going to push back my reservation for a year. They said, nobody's going to be here over the weekend anyway. So we're going to keep it a lot closer to home this weekend. So let's see what you guys have got. Enough about me, right? Hidden is saying, plan on sleeping. Not much different than a normal weekend. Okay. If you need to recharge, you need to recharge. That's sure. Sleepy Jens is saying, I think maybe watching old movies with my family and do homework as well. Yeah. Gosh, Sleepy, I think we both enjoy old movies. I know on my favorite movie channel, this is Noir Night, Noir, film noir. Probably my favorite genre of old movie. Noir stories are oftentimes, but not always, about criminals and detectives. Oftentimes your hero is a person who maybe has a little bit of a checkered past, and they're trying to be good, but they keep getting drawn into criminal activity and just keeps getting worse and worse no matter what they do. I don't know why I like that type of movie. Hannah is saying, usually my family would hang out with family friends, yet this year it'll probably just be a normal weekend. Yeah. I know that we had a little bit of success with a backyard event where everyone just distanced. Yeah, that's a possibility. That's a model. Let's see. Sleepy is saying, there's a car parade on your street right now. Oh, isn't that interesting? I mean, everybody likes a parade, right? And Sleepy furthermore says, though I like watching crime shows and crime documentaries, as well. Yeah. So what else are you doing to celebrate the Memorial Day weekend? There's talk around our household that we're going to hike a little piece of the Pacific Crest Trail, maybe about 25 miles north of us. Anyone else got something? Well, as you continue to think of your answers to the question of the day, let me tell you what it is that you're doing. Today's media note it's about how people, even in other developed nations, don't quite think the way Americans do about some very basic things, including privacy. So today's media note is entitled Privacy in Public in Europe. And listen to that story, because I think some of you will say, hey, that's a great regulation that they have in the European Union. And others will say, oh, God, that's terrible. That's totalitarian, or what have you. Then, of course, take the Media Note quiz on Canvas. And then for the lecture today, you will be finishing up chapter 13. Now, there were some students the other day who told me that there was a problem with the sound on chapter 13. So I have fixed that. And furthermore, in fixing it, I've broken chapter 13 into part 1 and part 2. So today, you are to listen to part 2. All right. Any closing comments before I stop the live stream and head on over to Canvas chat? Any last questions or comments? Oh, Sleepy is asking, what day is the final going to be? It's this semester. It kind of doesn't matter because I'm going to do it the same way that I did it for the other tests. I'm going to give you pretty much finals week to get it done. So I'll tell you what, though, next week it would be a good time for me to just give everybody an update on how the final exam will take place. So yeah, this was a good moment for you to ask this question, Sleepy Jens. Okay. All right, I'm going to end the live stream, and I'll see you over on Canvas chat.